Have you ever wondered what drives someone to break into a house? Now, I'm not talking about a common thief or a desperate drifter. This is the tale of an experimenter, a man with a singular obsession. It was a quiet night in suburban America, the kind where the only sounds are crickets chirping and the occasional dog barking. But for one man, it was the perfect setting for an unusual investigation. Meet Dr. Samuel Raines, a renowned psychologist with a penchant for pushing boundaries. His latest experiment: to understand the psyche of an intruder. To do this, he needed a willing subject. And what better subject than himself? Dr. Raines chose a house at random, a modest two-story home that sat at the end of a cul-de-sac. He had studied its occupants for weeks. The Thompsons, a family of 4, living their lives blissfully unaware of his scrutiny. With the precision of a seasoned burglar, Dr. Raines picked the lock and slipped inside. The house was eerily quiet, the kind of silence that presses on your ears. He moved with calculated steps, his heart pounding in his chest. His objective was to navigate the house, absorb the atmosphere, and, most importantly, avoid detection. As he crept through the living room, he couldn't help but notice the family photos, the children's toys scattered around. It was a stark reminder of the normalcy he was intruding upon. Dr. Raines made his way to the kitchen. He opened the fridge, not out of hunger, but curiosity. What did they eat? How did they live? Every detail mattered. It was a psychological profile built from the ground up. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps upstairs. His heart raced. He had miscalculated. One of the Thompsons was awake. He froze. Every muscle tensed, every sense heightened. The footsteps grew louder, descending the stairs. With no time to think, Dr. Raines slipped into the pantry, pulling the door shut behind him. He could hear the soft padding of bare feet on the tile floor, moving closer. The pantry door creaked open, and there stood Mrs. Thompson, eyes half closed, reaching for a glass of water. She didn't see him, standing there in the shadows, holding his breath. It was a close call, but it was also a revelation. This is what true fear felt like. Not the clinical, detached fear he had studied, but raw, unfiltered terror. As she returned upstairs, Dr. Raines slipped out, his mission complete. He had gained an invaluable insight into the mind of an intruder, his own. The experiment was over, but the questions it raised would haunt him for years. What drives us to push boundaries? What lies in the shadows of our own minds? Maybe, just maybe, some doors are better left unopened. And that, my friends, is the tale of the experimenter who broke into a house. Until next time, stay curious, but stay safe.